All right, hello and welcome to the Spotter Stand, coming at you live this week from Kansas Speedway. Once again, as usual, we've got BSR Pockets, BSR Hot Rod in the booth with us. Special guests this week, BSR Brian Boyles and BSR DJ Champ. How's everybody doing today?
Doing
What's up?
good.
Good.
Yeah, doing good. How y'all?
Well, man, we've had another big week of racing, another great week, and this is probably, we've got a lot to talk about this week. This has probably been the biggest drunken cow jerky giveaway in the history of Bomb Squad racing, thanks to Brian and Kathy Voiles over at Voiles Trucking. A lot of great racing action going on. Some 2-in-1 series, two series going on in the middle of one series, basically on Saturday night. We wrapped up the Voiles Trucking series on Saturday night this week. We wrapped up the Dirt series on Wednesday this last week. Been a lot of action going on, a lot to talk about tonight. So let's get right into it. We'll start with the racing action on Wednesday night. Wednesday, we did have the Drunken Cow Jerky Late Model Dirt Series, was the last race of the season. We ran at the Springfield Mile. And this week at Springfield, it was BSR Hot Rod bringing home the final victory in the Drunken Cow Jerky Late Model Dirt Series. Great job, Larry.
Yes, I got the win. Did everything I could to try to run our infamous brain fade down. Just didn't get there. Finishing second was brain fade. Third was Brian Wills, and fifth was Pockets.
Who was fourth?
Hey.
Oh, fifth was Eli. Fourth was Pockets. I'm sorry, my bad.
Oh, we ain't even got started good and you're trying to screw me out of position. What the hell's going on over there? Oh. Yep, that wraps that series up, and there's Brain Fade. There's your champion right there, top three. Brain Fade gets a plaque from Brian and Kathy over at Voiles Trucking. Some Drunken Cow Jerky gets 5 bags of Drunken Cow Jerky. Second place in the overall. What we ain't get to the overall yet, are we?
Nope, but you might as well keep going.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and let me put these points up right quick, and we'll see how the series ended up. It was Brain Fade, of course, who brought home the championship there, got the 5 bags of jerky. BSR Hot Rod with the victory moves up another spot to take over second place, down by 16 points, and he's going to bring home 3 bags of jerky. BSR Furco dropped a spot, but still managed to hang on to that third place spot, down by 18. I believe he's going to get 2 bags of jerky. BSR Pockets in fourth place, down by 22. Just missed the jerky on that one. And myself, BSR Texan, in fifth, down by 146.
All you
That was
38 fans, just be patient because we're jerky that I won here after a while, so don't worry.
Yeah, like I said,
Good.
this had to be the biggest drunken cow jerky week ever in the history of Bomb Squad racing. That by the time we finished counting this up, I guarantee you there was somewhere close to 30 bags or more of great drunken cow jerky given away this week.
Yeah, all I know is Mark and Richard Heyman and all the fine folks down in Dallas, Texas better have a big pile of it. I know they do. You'll be right on it first thing in the morning. So we're gonna get that all taken care of because I've got quite a bit of jerky to order.
Templar, and this dirt series, first time we initiated this dirt series, and I couldn't be more happy than the way it went through the whole season. Brain Fade being a great driver, great competitor. Glad to see he won the championship. Um, yeah, we had lots of great races.
A lot of dirt slung on Wednesday night in that series right there at a lot of different places too. That series traveled around to quite a few different locales for some of the best dirt racing action in this sim. And there's Brain Fade, and I'm telling you, that guy he goes back to the day of dirt track racing, and that right there. I mean, he shows up every week and he puts on a good show, and so congratulations to him.
Yes, it was. This series was 14 races. We had 5 different drivers. Ricky J ended up winning the most. He had 5. HB got wins. Nelly got wins. I got wins, and so did Mr. Craddock. Got 2 in that dirt series. Imagine that.
Rick Craddock he can race dirt. His schedule sometimes doesn't permit him to join in some of these races and series, but the times that he's shown up, he's had some great success. I mean, I think he's seen him. I was there, so yeah, he does really good.
Well, let's move on and take a look at Thursday night's racing. Thursday night, as you know, we run the Cup Series following the NASCAR Cup schedule, and we are well into the chase now, 6 races in with just 4 races left to go. This week was Kansas Speedway, and yeah, I had a rough week this week at Kansas, but overall it was a pretty good race, and it was BSR Brian Boyles in that number 68 Razorbacks Ford Fusion that brought home the victory in the Cup Series at Kansas. First Cup Series win for Brian. If you remember, not too long ago, he got his first Truck Series win, and now he's backing it up with a Cup Series win. Brian Boyles bringing it on here at the end of the season with another great victory at Kansas. Great job, Brian.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, congrats to Brian with his first Cup win. I got my first Cup win, I believe it was last week. Kilojoules second, Terry Scott third, Mr. Pockets fourth, and Ricky Craddock rounds out the top 5.
All right, so I guess another thing I got to do tomorrow is issue the pass so that Brian Boyles can get into the winner's lounge. You know, he's been out in the lobby there for a while, so I'll get him a pass to make sure he's able to come in and enjoy the special area that we have set aside for winners in these series. So congratulations to you for being able to pull that off at Kansas. And I think Brian kind of snuck up on a lot of people there at Kansas, because who knew Brian had that much for Kansas? So, hey, but he pulled it off. And I tell you what, that Kansas is that. Both nights at Kansas this week were just outstanding racing. I mean, you can go fast at Kansas, and it just creates a fun race.
There was a lot of guys that don't normally run really good were good fast there and good finishes.
Yeah,
a lot of your big name guys didn't finish out so good at Kansas.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It was kind of reverse of normal. A lot of the guys that normally would be running up front didn't have such great finishes. Yeah, as you'll see in the points, even though I had a terrible race and a terrible finish, most of the guys that were right behind me in the chase that are chasing me down, they didn't do that much better than I did. They did gain a few points, but they weren't running up there at the front, so they didn't gain a ton of points. Let's take a look at these points here in the chase, 6 races in. I still hold the top spot up there with BSR Terry Scott gaining 1 position to tie with Rick Craddock for second place, both down by 15 points. And you've got Axel Foley sitting there in 4th place, down by 23, and BSR Momo rounding out the top 5, down by 28.
And Momo took a hit, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
You see that 6th place guy keeps moving up this board.
Or is it Friday? Or is it Friday night where he's doing so well? And
Friday night he took a pretty good hit because.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We'll get to Friday night, but yeah, that's who you talking about in 6th place?
BSR Hot Rod sitting there in 6th place.
Oh, Larry wants us to talk about him.
He moved up 3 positions, only down by 33 points. He's knocking on the door of the top 5 there.
Yep, I keep moving up every week. You see the plus sign there.
And now he just jinxed himself for the rest of the season.
That's okay. My bad track's next week too. That's the one. That's the only track I'm worried about left on the schedule is Martinsville. That's the bad hitter there. That track is so tight and so narrow that one little bobble by somebody collects lots and lots of cars.
4 races left, 10th place 10th to 1st is still mathematically alive.
Oh yes, the whole top 10 still in this ball game for sure. Absolutely for sure.
Well, we just passed the Wednesday night. That we've wrapped up the dirt series on Wednesday night. The trucks are back on for the rest of the chase. 4 races left to go. They do race at Martinsville next week, and the Cup Series as well will be moving on to Martinsville next week, and that's a tight, small little track. So, that's another track where points can be gained and lost very quickly. It's easy to get in an incident there. Being such a small track, you can run still fairly well with a somewhat damaged car, but you get too much damage, or you get stuck in a late race caution. You could be behind a ton of cars and lose a ton of points in one race, or gain a ton of points in one race.
Absolutely. It's still all alive and on fire inside there, and we're headed to a track that Larry says is more of an equalizer wild card than Talladega, and that's Martinsville.
Yes, it surely is.
Well, let's move on. Check out Friday night. Friday night in the NXS series, the Xfinity. We also follow the NASCAR's Cup schedule, and once again, we have a 10-race chase at the end of the season in all the series. Once again, ran at Kansas on Friday night in the Xfinity series, and in the Xfinity, it was Danny Hardy and that number 03 Hardy's Chevrolet Camaro, who ended up bringing home the victory at Kansas. Great job, Danny.
Yes, congratulations to Danny. I know that was a very popular win, and that was a dominating win also. Texas second, Ricky J third, Monty Keller fourth, and the Mr. Magoo rounds out the top 5.
Mr. Magoo in the top 5. Yeah, after my terrible performance on Thursday night, I rallied back with a good second place finish on Friday. As you guys all remember, the points going into this on Friday night were, as close as they could get. Momo and I were tied for the lead, and I believe it was Terry Scott who was down by only 2 points going into this race. And let's check out how they turned out after Kansas. Whoops.
Uh-oh.
Let me get rid of those other points that I had to overlay. There we go. Myself, BSR Texan, managed to bring back the lead, no longer tied for the lead. BSR Terry Scott did move up a spot from third place to second, down by 10 points. Momo took a big hit on Friday night, moved back 2 spots from tied for the lead to third place, now down by 11 points. BSR Pocket sitting in fourth, down by 35, and BSR Brain Fade rounding out the top 5, down by 40. And look at Hot Rod sitting in 6th place in this series as well, down by 45.
Oh yeah, I had a horrible run Friday night.
It looks like Terry Scott and Momo both had some bad luck on Friday night. Terry was only down by 2. He lost 8 more points to drop down by 10, and Momo lost 11 points to go all the way back to third place, down by 11. But with, what do we have, 3 races left now in this Xfinity Series chase, they're both still close enough to take that victory away. And really, you can't even count out the top 6 drivers there. If myself, Terry, and Momo all have a bad race or two, anybody can still bring this home with 3 races left to go.
I tell you what, it looks like that thing's headed for a shootout, a showdown. There's going to be a showdown when we get to Homestead. That thing's probably going to, I don't know. This could go either way. You could probably go into Homestead 10 ahead, but what do you think? You think that's going to be more than 10 ahead, less than 10 ahead? How do you think this is going to transpire, knowing the tracks that we have come up? Because I know you're going to be good at Phoenix. Got Texas. And Texas is one of those things where everybody's good at Texas.
Yeah,
You
everybody's
know what
good
I mean?
at Texas, and I believe that's the next track coming up.
Everybody's fast.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's the next race.
Yeah,
this series
yeah.
skips Martinsville, does not race at Martinsville, and the following week we'll be heading into Texas. And we just had a race at Texas on Saturday night, and it was in the CTS physics. That's the physics we run with this Xfinity mod. So, I didn't necessarily have that great of a race. I think I rallied back and had a semi-decent finish at the end, but like you said, everybody is fast at Texas, and if there's a lot of tight, close racing. Accidents happen, and it's easy to get caught up in one of them. So yeah, I'm not counting any chickens before they hatch. I can tell you that because I know Terry Scott and Momo are both going to be good at Texas, and anything can happen. So by the time we get to Phoenix, we could be back into a tie or damn near a tie for the lead. Somebody could steal that lead away from me even by the time we get going into Homestead. So yeah, like you said, it's definitely going to be a battle when we come down to Homestead. I think the points in this series are going to be extremely tight, and we're going to have at least 3 drivers that are nervous going into Homestead and anticipating the possibility of getting that championship.
Well, I mean, and we're it's Phoenix is going to be pretty tricky. I mean, you can have a bad night at Phoenix and it'll be bad. You know what I mean? And at Texas, yeah, everybody's fast, but that's not when you say everybody's really fast there. Well, that means that trouble is just looming right around the corner if you're not careful, and you better be prepared for it and miss it because you know that there's going to be some hard racing, and the fewer races we get, the more the action starts heating up here, and that's going to affect everything. So we'll keep eye on it here and keep you up to date every Sunday.
And I thought Saturday's race was great. I got to test and throw together a pretty good, solid Texas setup for myself. Because I was horrible here earlier when we ran this track.
Well, let's move on and take a look at Saturday night. This is going to be the night that we are going to have a lot to talk about here. There was a lot going on Saturday night in both of these series. Oh wait, we can't do that. We gotta talk about the Friday night Empire State Dirt Truck Series race first. Yeah, Friday night we did run at Weed Sport in the Empire State Dirt Championship. And at Weed Sport, it was BSR Ricky J brought home his second victory of the week. Well, first victory of the week. We'll get on to the second one later. Great job, Ricky J, with another dirt win. Whenever Rick's able to make it to these dirt races, be it Wednesday night or Friday night, he's always a threat, runs great in the dirt. And Rick bringing home another victory in that Brian Boyles trucking machine at Weed Sport.
Yes, great job to Ricky J. Chevy Chase second, Brian Boyles third, Steve Looney in fourth, and the Hot Rod rounds out the top 5.
And that Weed Sport, that's second time back there, about the third or fourth time that we've rolled these dirt cars into New York and into the track at Weed Sport. And man, I tell you, Larry and I were talking, the foot doctor and I were talking, because if you want to talk about dirt, you need to talk to the foot doctor. And I was saying, why did this race seem so much? It's almost like I wasn't paying attention to the last race or something, because these cars were fast, unbelievably fast. And the racing was just insanity. I mean, it was great. And he said, tell him what you said, Larry. Why did it seem different to me this time?
Because the first time we were there was 3 guys, Ricky J, myself, and Eli, that pretty much had a handle on it out the get-go, and we were fast. We were like head and shoulders above everybody else. This time when we got there, everybody was equal, bad fast. So it made the whole race seem like everybody was faster.
Well, it was definitely it was a load of fun, man. We had those cars hooked up and hauling the mail in that dirt, and that was just it was a great race, great track, great series.
Where are we going to be headed to next week in this series?
Next week in this series, we go to Orange County.
That will be the second time at Orange County, will it not?
Yes, second time for all these tracks. There's only 3 races left. Everything is a repeat.
So this series is going to end about the same time as all of the chases in the other series. Everything's going to wrap up coming into the
That's
fall.
right. That's correct. We try to get this series to end with them because we have big plans for the off season, so to speak.
Well, let's take a look at how the points stand currently in the Boyles Trucking Dirt Series. Currently, it's BSR Hot Rod, the Foot Doctor, with a commanding lead over second place. BSR Chevy Chase, who's moved up 2 spots. Down. You know what? I've
You're
got
on
the
the
wrong
wrong
points
point.
up here again, don't I?
Yes, you
I need
do.
to be on season 3. Give me 1 second.
Yes, because it's actually Brain Fade and Brian Boyles tied at the top.
The Empire State Dirt Series, they are.
Yes.
Brain and Brian Boyles are tied.
Yes.
There we go. Now that's the right series. Yeah, BSR Brain Fade and Brian Bulls. Brian Bulls moves up 2 spots to tie for first place. BSR Hot Rod dropped a spot down to third, down by 1 point. BSR Chevy Chase holds on to fourth place, down by 6. And BSR Pockets rounding out the top 5, down by 35.
Lord,
Man,
look at that gap.
but look at how close those top 4 are. I mean, that's 6 races into this series, or 7 races into this series, and a tie for the lead. Third place only down by 1, and fourth down by 6. You couldn't get any closer than that after 7 races.
Oh, I'm just mad when I look at 35 points.
What's crazier than that is, I got 3 wins in this series. Rick J's got 2, and Brain and Brian both only won 1 race.
Brain and
Was
Brian, well, that's consistency for you. I mean, we know Brain Fade bringing home that championship in the late model Drunken Cow Jerky Dirt Series on Wednesday is a very consistent finisher in the dirt. You know, he may not bring home all the victories or a lot of victories, but he's consistently in that top 5. And that's what's going to keep you up there in the points. You know, those top 5 finishes over and over and over again. Even if you got guys that get wins, and they have a bad race here and there, you're still going to stay ahead of them in the points. And, you know, Brian Wolf, same way. I think he has gotten maybe a victory or 2, but a good, consistent finisher, almost always up there in the top 5. Um, you know, so that's why those guys are up there tied for the lead.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, that dirt is just
it's
fantastic.
it's even more important in this series because of the point structure. This series, more than any other series, is structured to pay consistency off better.
Yeah, what he said.
Well, let's go ahead and move on to Saturday night. Now we can get into all of this great jerky that's been awarded here. On most of it was this last Saturday night. There have been a few other series that jerky was awarded in recently, like the Dirt Series that just wrapped up. But let's talk about this Saturday night team series.
Yeah,
Battle.
it seems like everything kind of ended like that Wednesday series ended, and then we went into all these others. So we had several different series that were paying out prizes, but the Saturday night was the big night, the record night.
Yes.
Want us to talk about the team series? Team series is awesome. The date, yeah, that's what was it, race 6, Daytona? And I tell you, man, this team series, the Saturday night thing, we've got the breast cancer awareness, Kathy Voiles breast cancer awareness challenge mixed in here, so we'll talk about that. But and this Saturday night team series is that's the place right there. There's some racing going on on that Saturday night deal. I promise you, they getting after it. They ain't getting no cautions. They pitting, people getting black flags. People, it's through the roof.
My scheduling department's screwing up on me here.
No, Texans loading another picture for us here to talk about.
No, it's not what I'm talking about. I was going to go over how everybody actually finished in the race, but it
Those provisionals for everybody.
no, it's totally blank. It's gone. Like it just vanished. I don't know what happened to it.
Well, we'll get that sorted out. I know we know who the turkey winners were, so
Yes, the standings are correct, but the actual finishing order to Saturday night's race I don't have.
I got you. Yeah, we have those dead audio moments. I'm talking to Brain out in the chat box.
Dead audio moment.
Find it? Thought you were pausing for dramatic effect. Or I got you to get. And we're fortunate enough to have DJ Champ with us today.
Thank you for having me here. And Pockets, don't throw your headsets down.
I told DJ said, can I be here? And Texan said, yeah. And I said, if you do, I'm gonna throw my headset down and leave. So I'll stick around to hear DJ. Man, I'm telling you what, DJ, that's how you do it. I asked DJ about that, and this is what he told me. He said, well, that's how you make sure you win. You win both races. And I said, well, you're absolutely right about that. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I just didn't make any mistakes, and was right lines at the right place. And I want to thank Brian Voiles for hosting that too, and giving all the Drunken Cow jerky out.
Absolutely. And
No, they're, I hope they're right because it wasn't coming up for me. It's all screwed up. Nope, nope, they're not right. Nope, that is not right.
nope, because Ricky J fell out of second place because he couldn't
Yep.
make the final race.
Hang on, I'm going to try something here.
Second place
Pockets.
in the Kathy Voiles Breast Cancer Awareness Challenge was the number 38 DrunkenCowJerky.com hot car driven by BSR Pockets. Third place was BSR Steven. Fourth place was Ray 5050. Fifth place was BSR Bama slips in there, fifth place. Now the
Race, yes.
yes. Yep, the way that race with the amount of people and everything like that, and just the way it played out. That's how much of a move it was. And because there was a lot of people, a lot of pink cars, all those pink cars driving to help bring awareness. This is October. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and this is something Brian did special for his wife to commemorate her having 10 years of being cancer free. Thank the Lord. And man, that deal worked out great. And Brian really he put the prizes on this because this meant something to him. This is in honor of his wife, and we appreciate everything that he's done for this series. And I mean, there was some people that's going to walk away from there with some great drunken cow jerky and quite a bit of it. 6 bags, thank you. All six. They got six. Yes. 4. Third, fourth, and fifth. Yes, they all got 3 bags for finishing in the top 5. Third, fourth, and fifth. There were 2 lucky drawing winners, and those winners were Bonnie Killer and Steve Looney. They both won 3 bags. Killer. Killer.
You
Killer.
forgot about the 3 bags that went to the
You can't
broadcast.
hear me. Now you can hear me. I apologize. I had muted my microphone. That you've been sitting there listening to dead silence the whole time. I've been talking for the
I
last
mean,
minute and a half.
I didn't want to be rude and say, but Brain, I was having a conversation with Brain, and Brain was like, "There's a lot of dead air," and I'm sitting here.
You're sitting there thinking,
He
but Texan is
said
talking.
all of that
Texan's been
stuff.
talking. All right, now I'm going to say
Okay.
it all over again.
He said
I'm
all
going to
of
say
before you
all of that
start-
stuff over again.
and he said
Hang-
all of that stuff, and I didn't want to interrupt him, but
Hang on before you go over everything here, Texan. Mr. Pockets, who did you say finished second on the Saturday team race?
I did.
Bama did.
No, overall in the Kathy Voiles.
Right, overall. But the actual race finisher, top 5, DJ, Bama, Pockets, Mr. Looney, and Monty Keller rounds out top 5.
All right, that was the official. That was the second, right? That was the official standings of both the team race and the second race of the Kathy Voiles Breast Cancer Awareness Challenge.
All right,
So
now,
that was the finishing.
now
right
let me
there.
see
All
if
right,
I can
so-
do this again a second time here.
Yes, because y'all need to hear
Sure.
this. Because
If you refresh, if you can refresh your overall standings, they should be right now.
Let's see.
oh, and DJ also gets a plaque from Brian and Kathy Voiles at Voiles Trucking for the breast cancer awareness. So he gets a plaque and all 6 flavors of drunken cow jerky just for winning those 2 races, the very special event by Brian. So now we can go and talk about the rest of all of this crazy prize mayhem that Brian Voiles has created.
Okay, I've got them refreshed, and those are the correct points for the top 5 and the jerky recipients. I believe there were a few more drivers that showed up. I haven't increased the size of the window, so it only goes down to 22 positions, and there were more positions that are down below there, but we really are concerned with these top 5 right here. And as I was saying, this being the biggest week in Bomb Squad racing history for Drunken Cow Jerky, thanks to Brian and Kathy Voiles over at Voiles Trucking. There was some drunky given away, some jerky.
Drunky.
So there was some jerky
That's
given
right.
away in the Wednesday series, the dirt series that just wrapped up. A total of, I believe, 10 bags to the top 3 finishers that was given away there. Also, we had, 6 bags given away to the leader here, BSR DJ Champ, in this Kathy Voiles Breast Cancer Awareness Series. Another 4 bags to BSR Pockets, and 3 bags to Stephen, Ray 50, and Bama. That's a total of 25 bags of jerky.
Did you get the 6 for the random drawing of Steve?
Not yet, yeah. Or yeah,
Okay.
that's what brings it to 25. On top of these top 5 finishers, we also had 2 random drawings that 2 other drivers both got 3 bags apiece. One of the random drawings was Steve Looney. The other random drawing was Monty Keller. That's a total of 25 bags of Drunken Cow Jerky that were given away in this one race. There were also another 10 bags given away in the Saturday night series that just wrapped up. So if you total up all the jerky that was given away this week, 45 bags of Drunken Cow Jerky given away to different Bomb Squad racing drivers just this week alone. The biggest week in history for Drunken Cow Jerky prizes. And, hats off to Brian and Kathy Voiles for what they've done for the league and awarding all this to all these drivers. Now, these 2 random drawings, those were a little bit difficult because we had to exclude drivers, that had already won. We wanted somebody who hadn't won some jerky to win those. And I believe Pockets had to draw numbers like 7 or 8 different times to finally get to somebody who hadn't won some jerky already.
Yeah, because there was so much given out that it was, I had to keep drawing because it was just madness.
It was crazy.
Jerky
Yeah.
madness.
I believe Brian Voiles ended up winning some jerky, and gifting that to Larry.
Larry.
Did he not?
Yes.
Was that on
yes.
Saturday night or which night was
That
that?
was
That was-
Saturday.
Yep, it was the race after the team race, and Pockets had drew my name out, and I told Pockets to gift it. And then lo and behold, he pulls Brian's name out, and Brian took it and gave it to me.
Yes, and here's how that worked out. The way that worked out is that since we were in Texas for the last race of that series, Brian and I had discussed, and just since we were in Texas, we felt like that some Drunken Cow jerky needed to be awarded. So there were add 3 more bags to that 46, I believe, Killa, but you may have the count right. It's some I don't know if you counted those 3 bags or
No,
not.
I did not count those
That's
3
what
bags.
I
So that
thought.
would take it up
That's
to
how I-
48.
Yeah, it's
You got to add in the broadcast 3 bags also.
yes, and Brian graciously seen the need for our young broadcaster Rugrat to have some jerky, so he hooked her up with 3 bags.
Right in the ballpark of 50 bags of Drunken Cow jerky given away in 1 week, and almost everybody ended up getting some. There were a few drivers that didn't get jerky this week, but they probably had some in the past. I don't know if there's anybody that races here that's never won some beef jerky, but a lot of drivers are going to be enjoying a lot of jerky here in the next week or 2 to come. Matter of fact, my 5 bags that I won, what was it, last week before? I believe it was last week. Have just
Yes.
recently arrived. I'm going to be enjoying that.
We've given away so much jerky, I'm kind of lost at where we're all at, but I do have it written down, so at least there's that.
Yeah, the 5 bags of jerky that I won were in the Boomerang race that I ended up bringing home the victory in. Not only did it come with that great boomerang from Aussie Bill, but it came with some 5 bags of Drunken Cow jerky for the winner. So that's the jerky I just received, and that was last Saturday's race. Literally just got it. Haven't had a chance to take a pic yet, but I'll make sure I get a pickup. And I'm sure everybody else who's going to be receiving their jerky here in this next week will also get some pictures up. And we'll have lots of pics to share with you guys next week on the spotter stand of all the jerky that everyone has received for all the great racing that's been going on here recently.
And here's the other thing we talked about. We just wrapped up that Wednesday night DrunkenCowJerky.com dirt series. Add 10 more bags. That ended this week also.
Yeah, I added those 10 bags into the total.
Oh,
did
did you?
first,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, good. Yes, because those come from Bomb Squad Racing right there in Drunken Cow Jerky. So that's all right. So you added those 10. So
Yeah. We had
that's
25 on Saturday night alone, and then 10 from Wednesday night, and then this late night Saturday night had another 10. We haven't got to that race yet, but there were another 10. So that was the 45. And then if you add in the other bags that went out to Larry and Rugrat, you're up at 51 bags.
the thing. And here's the thing I like the most about this deal right here. Those 51 bags are going to go all over the United States. Long Island, New York, down to Florida, over to California, Alabama, Texas, Arkansas, Wisconsin. I mean, it's unbelievable how many different places all this is going. Massachusetts, Pennsylvania. I mean, that's just, to me, that's insanity.
Let's go ahead and check out the points for the actual team series. Now that we finished up with the breast cancer awareness, we've got those top 5 up there correct. With that victory by DJ Champ for the Reaper team, Carolina Reaper moves back into the top spot. It's been a back and forth switch between Reaper and Ghost every week for the last 3 or 4 weeks now. And now Reaper back up into that top spot. Ghost with a terrible finish this last week. moves to second down by 10 points. Hot in third, down by 15. Beer Bacon in fourth, down by 26. Original in fifth, down by 33. And Teriyaki not having such a great season this season. In sixth place, down by 50. And I'll tell you, I had terrible luck at the end of that race. I was having a great race. Both of my teammates, didn't have such a great race. I was the last guy for Ghost that was left in the race, and I was having great pit stops all the way to the very last pit stop of the race. And on that last pit stop, I got a black flag for speeding through the pits. When I tried to clear it going through the second time, when you know it, I sped again. So that gave me a stop and go. And I did not realize it was a stop and go, so I went through a second time and only drove through. That did not clear my black flag, so I had to drive through yet a third time and actually do the stop and go. So, 4 times through the pits for what should have been just one pit stop. Terrible finish. I ended up finishing back in 13th place, and with DJ Champ winning the race, that gives him a big spread there at a 10-point lead with only 4 races left to go in this season. And I'll tell you, DJ has done a great job. DJ, you normally run 75 tape for most of these races, and a lot of times you will your engine will blow up, halfway through the race or 3/4 of the way through the race. But I think you finally changed that strategy up a little bit, especially with this Kathy Boyle's breast cancer awareness races going on. I think maybe you've seen that it's not that big of an advantage to run that 75 tape the whole race long. You can run 70 tape and still stay up there in the front and lead a lot of laps, and just wait till the end of the race, put that 75 tape on, and you brought home some victories and some great finishes for your team this season, man. You've been doing a great job.
Depends where my team is in points. So if I decide if I want to run 75, let's say if we're down by 10 or 15 points, and I figured, if I'm up front, I have a better chance of staying up front if I'm running 75. And if I'm out front, the temperature will never, I'll never get into the red. So
And you can kind of control that even if you get caught in traffic. You can stick your nose out and work on the air and try to keep it a little cool, because you can control the temperature of your car with the way you're racing and the way you're drafting and stuff like that. So even if you do get caught in a situation to where you're in a pack of cars, you still know how to maneuver around to keep that car cool when you need to. And sometimes, it's a risk, but hey, the risk equals reward, because we're talking to the guy who won both races of the Kathy Boyle's Breast Cancer Awareness Challenge and put himself solidly as the championship of that special event. So whatever he did worked out.
And you know how the random breakdowns comes in bunches, and they seem to come in threes.
That's
and then
exactly right.
Once you get past the threes, you can run a bunch of races and not have any issues. So it's weird how that works.
I have noticed that myself, and you're right. It does come in threes, just like it's almost like they planned it that way. But you're correct, and that's you ran a great races both times, stayed out of trouble, did exactly what you needed to do. You're the guy who gets the pole every week or every time you qualify, and that comes into play of keeping your car out front. And I know you wish we would give a bonus point for qualifying, but if we did,
should.
You would beat everybody, and we would never be able to have anybody else win. So congratulations.
That's the idea. So then
Exactly.
that way that's 10 bonus points per 10 races right along right there.
Well, and everybody knows the strategy that you got with those Dodge cars. You put the tape on them, you run them hot, you get out there, you lead, try to get out, make sure you're out front. And we've all seen it. We've all seen you have bad luck with it. We've all seen you have good luck with it. And you had good luck when it counted, and you did what you needed to when it counted, and stuck to your plan. And and it puts you in the top spot.
Yeah, and
I-
those two victories for your team, not to mention the other four races, you guys have just had good, consistent top five finishes. Whereas on the other hand, Ghost has won three races this season, but in the other three races, we've had two eighth places and a 13th place finish. So, it's those consistent finishes, even with three victories. The Ghost team is sitting down by 10 points. So not only the two victories, but the great consistent finishes every week for your team is going to keep you guys up there in the lead.
And I tell you, a lot of people that are watching this that don't actually run in these series or may be a little confused here. I will tell you this. That was the greatest thing ever to put that challenge in that Saturday night series, because look what it did to the teams. I mean, everybody was taking a chance and they were running as individuals, but yet they were still racing for their team. And I mean, look at DJ. He took his team and put them on the top by winning those two races. I mean, that's was those prizes and winning that challenge, was that an extra attraction to you, DJ, to be able to win that, but and it also counted towards your team victories? Is that how that worked for you?
part way, yes. In part, we're real close to Texan, so I decided just gonna stay with 70 tape, and then in both of those wins, I didn't go to 75 until two stops remaining in the race, and then that's when I went to 75.
Well, and that is just great how that you have a good finish in the challenge, and it also counts towards the team series. What do you think about that, Texan? Did you like the way that scenario played itself out in those two special events right there in the middle of the team series?
Well, yeah, I like the way that they were slipped in there. I don't like the way that I raced. I did terrible
He
in
he
both
didn't
of
like the
those
result.
races. No, I got lucky in the middle there with that boomerang race. I did have a great finish and brought home another victory for my team. But the first breast cancer awareness race, I believe I finished in eighth place, and I was really looking for a good finish in that second one to try to move myself up into that top five, but it just didn't happen with those late race black flags and having to go through the pit so many times. 13th place, that's a horrible finish for my team, and myself. But it was it was a brilliant idea to mix those into the team series race, and it did change up the strategies a little bit. But I got to hand it to that Carolina Reaper team, because all three of their drivers, DJ Champ, Ray 50, and Steven, have been putting on a great, consistent performance every single week. Those guys have been, you see them always hooked up, in line together. If anything, there may be one other team car mixed in between them somewhere, but those guys are always hooked up together. They've all three managed to have good, consistent pit stops on every green flag stop and stay together for almost all of these races. And that's what you got to do in this team series, is have those good pit stops and get all three of your teammates out together and stay together after green flag stops to be able to dominate when it comes down to the end, because most of these teams aren't going to be able to do that. And when it comes down to that last draft to the finish line, if you've got three drivers all working together, it's going to be difficult for any of these other teams to get by them and pass them. So, yeah, like I said, I got to give it to this Reaper team. Their performance has been awesome in these last few races here in the team series.
And I tell you, you're a perfect example, you and I both, because what happened to you this week happened to me last week, and we already discussed that you make a mistake in this series on Saturday night, and the chances of you being able to recover from it are very slim, because there's going to be a lot of people who aren't going to make a mistake. You can't really count on a caution anymore in super speedway racing on Saturday night. That used to be my strategy. I was all relaxed because I'm thinking, nah, man, that's all right. If something happens, it'll be cool. We'll get a caution. You can't think that way anymore in that series, can you?
No, absolutely not. You
That
can't count on a
changed.
caution, a late race caution at all. You've got to count on good pit stops. You got to have those good, consistent green flag pit stops and get out and stay on that lead draft if you want to have a chance to have a victory or a good finish for your team.
Yeah, I mean, it gets right down to where, I mean, you've got to be thinking about every move. I found myself in an unfortunate situation last night to where I had to pit off the lead pack by myself, only one lap ahead, but still I was out of fuel. And I tell you, I struggled and drove like crazy to try to just, I mean, that series will make you get up on that wheel and drive, and you've got to think. You've got to be thinking, and you can't make any mistakes. It's that ultra competitive, and I mean the scoreboard shows it. It's just I'm just really proud of that series and how the racing goes in there for super speedway racing. I mean, nothing beats that.
Let's move on and finish up the week here with the Saturday night Boyles Trucking Series. We did have the last race of this series on Saturday night at Texas Motor Speedway, and bringing home the victory in the last race of the season. Sorry, little technical difficulty there. It was Rick Johnson in that 193 Boyles Trucking Machine. Once again, bringing home his second victory of the week at Texas Motor Speedway. Great job, Rick.
Yes, Rick Johnson wins Texas. Pockets gets second. Texan third. Hot Rod fourth. Brian Boyles rounds out the top five.
And I'll tell you, that was a tough race. Like we were saying earlier, Texas Motor Speedway and the CTS physics, everybody is fast. It's a lot of close racing. I had some bad luck. I managed to rally back and pull off a third place victory there, or third place finish there at the end. But I found myself at the back of this pack quite a lot on Saturday night, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen to me when we come up to Texas in the trucks and the Xfinity race, because the points are still very close in the trucks and the Xfinity series, and I'd like to hold on to that lead all the way to the end.
Well, I tell you, that Texas, man, that thing is super fast, and if it's 100 laps, you are on the ragged edge of disaster for 100 every single lap. You got to be getting after it, man, because that thing got to go fast, and you got to be careful. And it's just, man, I love that place, and of course, the home of Drunken Cow Jerky, Texas. So there you go. That's why we always show out a little bit when we're down there in Texas. And Brian throwed out some bags of jerky and for that event too. So it was a good night. It really was.
Yeah, let's take a look at the points and see who brought that jerky home for this series. It was myself, BSR Texan, who brought home the championship and the 5 bags of Drunken Cow jerky.
We're gonna have to talk about you a little bit here, ain't we?
That's right, a little bit. Even though I didn't have such a great week, I did bring home a championship. That's my very first championship in any of the Boyles Trucking Series. I tell you, I'm proud of that. I'm glad to finally get a championship in one of these Boyles Trucking Series, and it was Brian Boyles, second place. Also brought home some jerky. And BSR Hot Rod in third place also brought home some jerky. I believe this is actually where Brian Boyles gifted his 3 bags of jerky to Hot Rod. Actually, Hot Rod won his 2 bags for third place, and Brian gifted his 3 bags to Rugrat for all the work she's been doing on the broadcast here lately. And not only that, but I, having recently won 5 bags of jerky, in the Boomerang 200, I gifted my 5 bags of jerky to BSR Axel Foley. Axel didn't have such a great night on Saturday night. I know he was hoping to win some of that beef jerky. There was like I said, the top 5 in the breast cancer awareness all got some jerky, and then we had two drawings, random drawings that were given away. And Axel had not such a great race. He was out of the race early in the breast cancer awareness race on Saturday night. But one of the stipulations to win the drawing is you had to be there at the end to win some of that jerky. And even though Axel had a bad race and was out early, he stuck around to make sure he could be there at the end in hopes that he would maybe get lucky and win one of those drawings and get some of that beef jerky. And he didn't get lucky. I believe didn't we have another drawing in the Saturday night series where somebody else had won some jerky on the late night? But he stuck around at the end of both races, even on Saturday night, the late series. Axel stuck around and raced with us. Again, had a bad race, was out early, but stuck around to the end of that race, and once again, not lucky enough to get any jerky. So myself having already won 5 bags that I just received, I know Axel was really hoping to get some and missed out both times, so I gifted my 5 bags in this series to Axel Foley. But I'm keeping that plaque. I want that Brian Bulls trucking plaque, man. That's what I was really looking forward to getting, and I'm looking forward to having that.
One quick note to Saturday night's late night race. We had a guest driver show up, Mr. Gordo. Great to see Mr. Gordo come and turn some laps with us.
I'm glad you said that, Larry, because that was a historical moment in our league to have the legendary, and I mean legendary sim racer Gordo. Yes, the Gordo from Open Speedway graced us with his presence and joined us on that late night Voiles Trucking Speedway series, truck series, and it was just an absolute thrill to have such a fine dignitary of the sport in amongst us in our server and in our race. So hats off to Gordo for stopping by and having a good time with us.
Absolutely, yeah, it was great to have him there. Hopefully, he can come by. I believe he said he was looking forward to maybe trying some dirt racing. So
Looking for a little dirt, and he
Yeah.
coming, and I'm gonna tell you right now, and Kill, I wanted to point out that's a very nice thing for you to do for your very special friend Axel. You kind of seen the guy putting forth the effort, and you recognized it, and you awarded him with some jerky because you were getting all kinds of jerky. You had to basically too much, and so that was awful nice of you to do that.
Oh, well, thank you. Like I said, Axel. I think if anybody deserves to get some, he's done a lot for this league with the, if you guys have seen any of the broadcasts that Rugrat's been doing, that national anthem is played by Axel Foley live on his guitar. He's been generous enough to do that for us and let us use that. Not only that, but the music that is on the intro video of all of my streams, also on the Spotter Stand intro, and he also was kind enough to do that for us and have something for us to use. Actually, a great musician, absolutely awesome, and I was glad to give him that jerky. I know he was disappointed that he wasn't able to get any, and like I said, he did put forth the effort. He made sure he stayed around even after having those bad races, to try to get lucky and get some of that jerky. And I thought it was only fitting, since I already had just won 5 bags, to donate them to him, since he did put forth that effort, and I'm glad to do it.
Well, and then another point to that too is, as you mentioned, all that good music and background music and all that stuff that he provides for us. You kind of put yourself in a situation to where if you need some of that kind of stuff in the future, that you'll definitely have someone that'll be willing to give it to you for sending them 5 bags of jerky.
Yeah, maybe I can get a lesson or two out of him, here or there. Maybe he can show me something.
Well, I'm sure for 5 bags of jerky, he'll do quite a bit. So I'm sure he was very grateful, because he sent me, you had told me about it, and he sent me a text. He wanted to make sure that I didn't get that I got that message, and made sure that your jerky went to him. So I'll take care of that personally.
Now I see Brain Fade over there in the chat. Can you have too much jerky really Yeah, and really, you're right. You can't. But I just didn't feel right, having all that jerky with other guys sitting out there wanting some and eating some, and that's just that's kind of what we do here at VSR. A lot of different drivers have done the same thing. We like to spread things around, and instead of having one driver soaking up everything, it's great that most of our drivers are generous in that way, and when they've already got some great jerky prizes, they don't mind. Forwarding theirs to another driver who maybe hasn't had any in a while. So
Well,
you're
and
right, Brian. You
I,
can't have too much jerky. That stuff is great. And if I'd have had 10 bags, I'd have ate every bit of it. But I'm sure Axel will enjoy some as well.
and I was also referring to, the fact is that we talked about all this jerky that we gave away this week, and y'all are getting jerky this week that we gave away that y'all won from
last week.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm saying here is that, even Brain said, I got my jerky, Steven Brandstetter up in Oklahoma, he got his, and we're sitting here talking about all this jerky we gave away Saturday night and Friday night, and they've got jerky this week from stuff we did. So I don't know I'll have to ask Mark, how many bags are we up to? Because this is just, I don't have a clue. That's like I said, I get lost sometimes.
Yeah,
I know we got jerky going all over the place.
Last week there were, 10, 11 bags given away. And was it just the top 3, or was it the top 5 in the boomerang that won jerky?
That was the top 5.
The top 5. So there was probably at least another 15 to 20 bags given away last week on top of the 45 bags given away this week. That's 65 bags of jerky in the last couple of weeks. And, we really appreciate everything that's come from Bomb Squad Racing and Brian and Kathy Boyles at Boyles Trucking. It's been a great couple of weeks of racing. A lot of exciting action on the track on top of the beef jerky that's been given away, that Commander Board Signs trophy that Larry Yeager, BSR Hot Rod won, the boomerangs that myself and a couple of other drivers won. It's been a great couple of weeks of racing and some really awesome prizes that have been given out these last couple of weeks. And we've still got 4 weeks to go before we wrap everything up at Homestead. So, keep tuning in here with us on the spotter stand, and we're going to keep all you guys up to date on all the great racing action every week, all the way through Homestead.
Yep, one more week, so there'll be some more jerky going out, Pockets?
Yeah, and that's the thing about this is this jerky thing has turned into just an absolute. This is what Bomb Squad Racing is all about. When you hear, well, I had some jerky and I seen this guy and this jerky has become kind of a way for us to, or people to say, you know what, man, I love it here. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for giving me a good place to race. Thanks for treating me with respect. Thanks for always doing the right thing and trying to be fair and honest with everybody. And they appreciate that, and they want to give back, and they want to give to each other. And Drunken Cow Jerky has provided us a great way to show our appreciation. And, they do so much for us and have been our sponsor for so long, that it just works out so good for everyone involved. And it's due to the close-knit nature of this group of racers who come together to compete. And it just creates that atmosphere that you have with the things that people are doing. And I could not be more proud to be a member and be associated with this group because of it.
The broadcaster also wants to thank Aussie Bill for coming down and being a guest on the broadcaster. And I also want to thank Brian and Kathy again for the bags of jerky that you gave me.
Oh,
you're most welcome.
You decided to get out of bed?
Yeah.
I asked if you were going to be here. I was told you were in bed. So, well, it's glad to see you join us, everyone. This is Trish. This is Rugrat. This is the voice of they've been running our broadcast for us. We're working on things here, and she's one of the ones helping us do it. So y'all welcome her into the spotter stand. And I told her that she needed to be here. She's going to be involved in some of this racing and calling some of these races and giving information and keeping people informed. So we want y'all to get used to her and welcome her.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're glad that you were able to join us here, even if it was just for the last portion of the spotter stand.
I know she was here for most of it.
For most of it. Well, I wanted to say, just since you brought up Aussie Bill there and him being in the booth with you, I thought that was absolutely a great deal. I thought you guys both did a great job, and I liked hearing Aussie Bill. I think he did a great job in there.
Awesome job. Awesome. It was great.
I hope he's still out there watching, and I hope that he hears this because, you know, Bill is around, with us almost every night. A lot of times he chooses not to race, but if he's not going to race, I really hope that he doesn't mind getting in there and doing that a little bit more, because I think the combination of both of you guys was absolutely great, and y'all did an awesome job broadcasting that. So I hope Bill will get in there with you a little bit more, and we'll have more of those great broadcasts like that.
Oh, Bill's going to get in there. I'm fixing to make him an offer he can't refuse. So we'll see him some more in there.
I just pulled him down here with us.
There he is, right there.
Here now.
Mate, I'll tell you, I would have been in for the other races pockets, but I had to go to hospital, mate. I got a bloody steel slither in my eye, and I had to go and get it taken out.
Really?
Oh,
well, are you feeling better now?
Yeah, just a bit blurry, but I had it last week, and I fucking been a bloke. Fucking it'll get better, but it fucking didn't get better.
Well, at least it's better now.
Yeah, I can see now.
All right, well, good. Thank goodness. I was kind of wondering about you, but yeah, you did a great job in that deal, man. And I mean, we just that's another one of those examples of a BSR member stepping in and filling a hole and helping out, and that was just it was a really good job, and we all appreciate it.
Yeah, but I don't think I was fucking snubbing you or anything. I wasn't here, mate.
I would never think that anyway, my brother. You're all good. I'm just glad you're feeling better.
Well, with that, we're going to call it a week. We'd like to take this time to thank all of our sponsors. We'd like to thank the Heyman brothers over at Drunken Cow Jerky. Obviously, Brian and Kathy Boyles at Boyles Trucking did a lot for us this week and every week. Rick Craddock over at Real Tech LLC. BSR Scar from WLS Graphics. BSR RJ Rusty over at the Medicine Chest Pharmacy. And BSR Tyler and Rhoda at Hello Sunshine Hello. All of these great sponsors do a lot for us every week here at Bomb Squad Racing. The Heyman brothers over at Drunken Cow Jerky have been really busy keeping us supplied with this jerky here this last week, and Brian and Kathy Boyles over at Boyles Trucking have gone above and beyond for the Breast Cancer Awareness Week and really provided a lot of great prizes, for everybody here at Bomb Squad Racing this last week. We really appreciate everything that they've done for us, and it's a great place to race. Have a lot of fun, a lot of great drivers, and a lot of great people here at Bomb Squad Racing.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you later this week.
Broadcaster also said to thank you to Texan for popping in after work when you couldn't run with us. And see ya, everybody.
Holla.
Holla.